Hello and welcome to the Warhammer 40k Imperial Guard Tactics video. Today we shall be continuing with our Basics of the Guard series, looking at the heavy weapons options, and today's video is going to be about the heavy bolter. So it's going to be a nice short sweet video. We're going to look at what the heavy bolter is and where you should be putting it in your army and its sort of general advantages and disadvantages. Okay, so number one. The heavy bolter is 10 points. That's how much it costs. What do you get for 10 points? You get a weapon that is heavy 3, so you get 3 shots, but if you move with it, you're snap shooting. Strength 5, AP 4. Heavy bolter will be very, very familiar to many players, and it's one of the oldest heavy weapons in the Warhammer 40k universe, and it's still here, and it's still rocking. Okay. There's a lot of people out there, guard players I should say, who don't really like the heavy bolter, and I have to disagree with them, because for 10 points you get an absolutely cracking little heavy weapon. As we've said, you get 3 shots. That's perfect for the guard mentality, because there's two ways that the guard work. You either throw as much shit on the wall as possible, or you hit them hard, and you make sure that when you do hit them using a mediocre ballistic skill, that you fucking kill them. Anything that's in between can kind of struggle. So the heavy bolter fits in with that sort of first mentality, which is throw as much shit at the wall and some of it will stick. That's basically what it comes down to. And for 10, and as I keep referring to, 10 points, it's cheap. So 10 points, you get a high volume of shots. And I will just go out there and say straight away, I have a soft spot for heavy bolters. I really, really do. If you guys have watched my battle reports, I always field, some heavy bolter squads. Heavy bolter grenade launcher, heavy bolter flamer squads. I just find they work. They're not perfect, but I like to take them because they're a little bit different. Because, and obviously this is leading on to a different video, but a lot of guard players, if you have to spend 10 points on a heavy weapon, they won't even look at the heavy bolter. They'll go straight to the autocannon. Okay, there's many reasons for that, but personally, I'm not saying the heavy bolter is a better weapon than the autocannon. I just kind of like it. It's got a little soft spot in there. You can't really go wrong with it. I mean, at the end of the day, it's still rocking in the 41st millennium. In this age of grav and D weapons and all that, sometimes you just need to go back to your roots, and you need the humble heavy bolter to remind you of a simpler time when all you needed was a solid slug and a high rate of firepower. That's kind of why I like the heavy bolter. Maybe it's a soft one, maybe it just reminds me of the older times. Now, so that's what the heavy bolter is. It's cheap, high rate of fire, decent strength, decent AP. Okay. What is its function? Well, it should be fairly obvious. It's anti-infantry. Anything that is toughness 3 is going to get fucked by this. Okay, it's going to die. Because you're going to be wounding it on 2s. So it is the light infantry shredder. That's its specialised role. Now against toughness 4 units, like Space Marines, it actually can do alright as well. Because you'll be wounding on 3s. That helps you force a lot of armor saves, which is good. Which is really, really good. I mean, if you compare two, and this is just random math hammer off the top of my head, if you compare 2 heavy bolters, 2 autocannons shooting at a Space Marine, the two heavy bolters will hit 3 times and will wound twice, and 2 autocannons will hit twice and more than likely wound twice. So they're about equal when it comes to shooting Space Marines. And the heavy bolter is obviously generally better against light infantry just because of that higher volume of fire. So that's its role. It's an infantry hunter. It can, in a pinch, hurt transports. Think light vehicles like Orc trucks, Tauroxes, Rhinos, Razorbacks, anything like that. That it can damage. It can glance them to death. It's not ideal, but in a pinch it can do that. So, where should we use them? Well, this is where I think a lot of guard players go wrong, and this is where I found them to be most useful. But in my basic infantry squads, I think that their home is in an infantry squad or a platoon command squad. For a long time, for literally like 2 years within the old 5th edition codex, I would run a platoon command squad with a heavy bolter. It was a pretty good option. It worked nicely. It fit in with the theme of the army I was going with at the time. It never really let me down. But why am I saying put them in these squads? Why am I saying put them in your infantry squads? Well, because the heavy bolter is an anti-infantry gun, it pairs nicely with your las rifles, and it pairs nicely with your grenade launchers and flamethrowers. If you're looking for a cheap platoon that you are going to want to sit in some cover, 2 or 3 squads and a platoon command squad, if you want to sit them in cover and just bit of fire support, but mostly just cheap and cheerful objective holder, you can't go wrong with a platoon, 33 squads, 3 heavy bolters, 3 grenade launchers, wang a mortar in your platoon command squad. You can't go wrong with that. Puts out plenty of anti-infantry, and all your weapons, when you shoot at a target, all your weapons are going to be helping out. Okay? All your weapons are going to be helping out, which is great. So, just a quick drink here. So that's where you want to find it. That's where you want to put it. It can work all right in a heavy weapons team. Because obviously if you take 3 of these things in a heavy weapons team, you'll be putting out 9 shots. That's pretty potent. But a heavy weapons squad. But I feel the heavy weapons, and this is obviously something I'll bring up in my autocannon video, I feel the heavy weapons squad is a better home for the autocannon. The reason for this is if an autocannon in an infantry squad, a lot of the time you'll be tempted to use the strand 7 of the autocannon to plink away at transports, and the rest of your squad's firepower, if it's a flamer and some las guns, are going to go to waste. Whereas an autocannon, it is a specialized weapon. A lot of people don't think of it as. A lot of people see it as like a bread and butter, can take all comers weapon. But I personally see it as specifically designed for shredding transports. Okay, does the job almost as good as missile launchers for cheaper. But that's going off on a separate topic. But you see what I mean? Like the autocannon, it used to have a take all comers role, and now I don't think there's any such thing as a take all comers weapon. I think it's better at shredding transports, and because of that, it being relegated to that role, I think, coming back to the heavy bolter, that the heavy bolter, maybe it's just my bias, maybe I've just got a soft spot for them, but I feel like the heavy bolter is better suited to be found in an infantry platoon. Okay, in an infantry squad. Because a lot of people, they don't like taking heavy weapons in their infantry squads because they feel like it wastes the rest of the squad's firepower. You put a las cannon in there, it wastes the rest of your squad's firepower. However, if you don't want to waste the rest of your firepower, take heavy bolters. They're always going to complement your other small arms. So that's where I think the heavy bolter should fit. Do I think the heavy bolter is worth it in a guard army? Yes, I think you'll always have a home for heavy bolter. I don't think it will ever be a one-hit wonder, oh my god, this shit is OP weapon. I don't think it'll ever be that. But at the same time, I don't think you'll ever be disappointed by the heavy bolter. It's not great, it's good. It's not terrible, it's good. Does it complement the rest of your firepower? Yes. There you go. And the last thing I want to say is, think of it this way. The heavy bolter is meant to be two fluff reasons why you should take it almost. One, the heavy bolter is meant to be the most widespread, common heavy weapon in the Imperium. That's just meant to be it's meant to basically represent a heavy machine gun. That's what it's meant to do. Okay? So, you should take a few just because they're meant to be common as fuck anyway. Every guard army's meant to have one. Think of every bit of guard fluff you've read. They've all got heavy bolters in them. Every little guard novel here and there's always a heavy bolter mentioned somewhere. And the second reason is the heavy bolter, in my opinion, almost is like a symbol of the Guard itself, of the Imperial Guard as a whole. It's old, it's possibly outdated, but it's reliable, it's cheap, and it's okay. And if there's no other weapon out there that sums up that quite, represents the Guard like that, heavy bolter is almost like the mascot of the Imperial Guard. It's not the best thing out there, but it'll do you proud. So I hope you guys like the video. Hope you found it informative. Hopefully it's opened a few eyes to other heavy weapon options outside of just autocannon spam. And for any of you who are unsure, just go and try out a few heavy bolters. Just take a platoon of them, okay? Try them out. Maybe they don't work for you in your meta, but I think you'll be pleasantly surprised at how they actually function. So thank you for watching. Hope you found this useful, and I'll see you guys next time.